That barrage is ready early, as it often is, for far as at the start of this control match. Michelle's going to drop straight in. There's going to be a defense matrix. There is a bit of that damage is mitigated, but Sinatra is still taken down. And a big part of the Shock's damage battery is expired. Trying to head to that high ground. Super drops in with the nano boost now, but Marvel's already taken down. Shoykyoven, here's the barrage again. And the Shock had just not had an answer to this play. Shoykyoven wasn't in the fight, and Michelle sends moth packing. Bad news for the San Francisco Shock. Marvel gets hooked in. He's going to be able to get away though, being healed up the entire time by Jexa up on high. Minefield will be dropped down, and it's going to be tough. The Shock have to go in 1s and 2s now, and that may not be sufficient. It's Marvel taken down though by a self-destruct. Shoykyoven able to at least get the wrecking ball off the table, but Super's too low. Xayah Bubble's all well and good, but there's no healing to follow it up. Sinatra caught out, and the first round going over to the Seoul Dynasty. Runner play out in the open, then close against a barrage, I suppose. Coalescence to keep Super alive. Some of these mines need to be cleared by the Shock, and here comes Michelle trying to go inside the small room, but Shoykyoven was right there. He had ate up most of that one, and yet Michelle goes down, but still the Seoul Dynasty were able to capitalize. They wrap around, and the Shock had to stand around inside this small corridor and make themselves very vulnerable. Shock trying to move up here with a hit by that EMP. Super's got to get clobbered, but Moff's able to get the sound barrier out just in time. Sinatra off to the side on the point here, wondering where the heck Marvel went. It was the whole hog that cleared him off. Rascal going to create some space here on the point. The Shock finally shows signs of life. There's a blip on the EKG, but it's going to take more than that. That EMP though could be the end. Oh, quick grab. Sinatra gets it out before Fitz can really get involved in the fight. Great turnaround for the Shock. They needed it so bad. The EMP responded to by the sound barrier. The Shock were able to stave it off. The Dynasty never had a chance to respond. Getting close to big charge. Oh, Jaehong didn't have a chance to respond to that. The right click just hit him, and he was vaporized. The Ana is back in the fight now, but Jexa gives his life up to do it. And the Seoul Dynasty, well, they did not win the first fight with this composition. Michelle, important mission for him. Get rid of Shoykyoven's mech and then go for the barrage. The first part is satisfied. Now for the second. Over the top on the Rascal, and it wasn't the thing he could do about it. He couldn't even have taken a breather because he was, well, bionated. Super's able to charge Marvel down to win that chaos when the Shock is still in control. They're running with 4 players, and the Coalescence might give them the edge in this fight. Jexa is down. Michelle realizes now he doesn't have his pocket. Super, oh my! It's going to be a sound barrier committed to this fight. The Shock are serious about this one. Super goes down. Violet's forced to try and get back from Marvel. Violet Grass won't be enough to keep them topped up here.
You can extend this point for so long that you have players coming back here for the Shock. That'll be
Self-destruct.
Hog coming in, self-destruct as well.
Nasty EMP. Super's going to be returning with Earth Shatter though. He's beelining for the point. The Dynasty don't really have the gumption to take this point away from the Shock quite yet, but there's Michelle from that high ground. Super the Earth Shatter. Who's it really going to connect with?
Off the point.
I don't know, man. Graviton Surge fight up by Sinatra. They're good catch. Violet going to be able to finish off. Michelle's in a great position to get 2, but Rascal is able to cut him off mid-barrage.
Surrender to my will.
EMP. He needs to find a good position to use this without getting hacked by Rascal. He comes forward, he gets 5, that might be enough. Moth didn't have a sound barrier anyway, couldn't have provided it. Shoykyoven's able to take down Jaehong with micro rockets, but it's a trade. Marvel on the Reinhardt now, that's a huge bonus. The Shock are not in a good position at all. Marvel swings that hammer through. San Francisco will be forced off here. Blue or not, they're about to find out. Here it is. 6 players hit with that one of the Seoul Dynasty. Very easily and cheaply one fight. 1 ultimate for a fight win. You take those every day. That means that they can bank ultimates for this next fight.
They get the stagger there on a Rascal, so you're going to have to wait. They may have to go without him.
It's not looking good for the Shock. The down a player, they have to go. Shoykyoven manually hacked there. Violet with the Coalescence, and the Shock are just trying to push their way through, but the Graviton Surge holds them in place. Not a thing that could be done. And the Seoul Dynasty will take away the first match.
It makes it very difficult to do. That'll be 1 tick of progress that goes to the Shock.
Marvel's trying to kill Rascal right now in the 1v1. Yeah, look at this. He's going to win it out. You better believe your boy. Zip him up. Oh, man. That is so rough for Marvel. And now Rascal gets to sit up on the high ground. Oh, Michelle taken down, and that will be it. Rascal, of course, was like, 4 kills in that fight.
4
No
final
biggie.
blows, why not?
Let them up.
If you're Seoul Dynasty, like, oh man, like, at least you got them to use their grab, right? Then maybe you come back and contest. Here's the EMP.
Great EMP. Moth had
you'll get
sound
value
barrier
on
as
that.
well.
Yeah.
I need healing.
Great turnaround, and Seoul Dynasty have a chance to stabilize here. Now, if they tried to fight in the previous fight with an EMP or something similar, they could have just made the snowball worse. So fair enough to concede that second checkpoint. Shock have a lot to work with now. Graviton, Implication Matrix, this is gonna hurt! Here comes the shadow from Marvel, though. He's trying to stave off some of this damage. He's trying to push ahead of the Ant Matrix, so he isn't subject to that extra damage. So far, not so bad. His shield, though, looking worse for wear, and the Dynasty have to give a bit of ground here. Jaehong backs off in the wrong direction, though. He goes up the stairs. The rest of his team goes stage left. Immortality field thrown out, but now the Shock are going to get triple hacked. EMP from Fitz comes out, but it may not matter. Trichoven Violet pushing him with the damage. The sound barrier was there this time from Moth. Michelle gets caught in grab. There's no way he's getting away from that one at all. The San Francisco Shock. That is what we call a salty run back.
Fire at will.
Let them up.
Yeah, it's just a weird angle because you can't get any type of line of sight on
great.
it.
Oh, that was
nice knockdown.
Perfect from Marvel. Throwing Violet and Rascal to the wolves. And there you go. Just spent most of the round doing, roundabouts, doing doughies, as we call them. But all that matters was how to get the knockoff. The rest of the Soul were waiting in that main area. Later, Transcendence. How does Super respond to this? Does he try and go for a shadow? Oh, okay. Self-destruct thrown in the side room. Doesn't get any kills, but it's not supposed to. It holds off the Dynasty, but only for a little.
Oh, Marvel hits like a cross-map pin there on the Sinatra, just blasters him into the truck.
Super still had a shadow, didn't work out. Here's a grab. They've got to try and stem the bleed as quickly as they possibly can. Immortality field also thrown down. The Shock will get the fight win. They pretty much had to spend there. And all they really had was a grab. This will at least get Moth back to sound barrier.
Be the grab that comes down,
Ooh,
sound barrier
early
here.
beat! EMP comes out after Moth goes to the sound barrier. That was really the order. The Shock wanted to happen in. Violet able to avoid the EMP though, that's right. Choke open. Oh, this is nasty. Oh, say it ain't so! The humanity of it all, Trey Open. One more chance for the Seoul Dynasty. The Shock are looking solid here. Transcendence going to be available for Violence. Dynasty don't have much to work with here. Marvel, that's a fire strike. Fitz has to back away, he's a little bit low, he gets the sound barrier though, and Sinatra's gonna let the grab go across the map. Flutter's caught in there, as is Michelle, and that won't last him long enough. Choikovin insult to injury, throws inside the self-destruct, and Fitz will fall. Transcendence and celebration as San Francisco have evened the score.
Sinatra and Choyoven have controlled the point.
Here it is, Flair's gonna drop in. There was no Choikovin to save them, it's 4! Yep. Flatter knew where he had to be, and Choikovin looks around with dismay. You can't be everywhere at once, but someone had to stop the barrage with a nano boost. It was never gonna happen. Super is returning to the fight now, and Violet, of course, was able to get that Transcendence away.
And I'm surprised. And I was going to say, I'm surprised they didn't go in and use their own grab. Sinatra launches his right away. But right at the end of the Transcendence, they had an opportunity with 4 players alive.
Огонь по готовности. Огонь по готовности.
That's an effective minefield, though, as Shoyoven gets split off and he can't go back to the point.
Super's so frustrated right now. He's looking for a shatter in a moment. I think that EMP is really going to be bad news for the Shock. Rascal has to go for the 1v1, and he's won those before, but Jexa this time comes out on top. The Seoul Dynasty are well set up here. There's really not much the Shock can do. Choikovin will attempt. That's all he's going to be able to do. Violet goes down. Plato just tooting across the point. The Shock have set up what? Okay, Super has set up multiple occasions that he dislikes Sombra. He thinks that Sombra is a crutch. That's maybe some slight paraphrasing there, but trust me, he'll admit to it.
EMP barrage here. You have Choi getting DMAC'd as Now what happens there
that
is Choyomen actually occupies Fleta for a very long time.
Looking like they might be able to capture here. Michelle's going to drop the self-destruct on the point. Bubble being thrown over the top of it. Nicely played by Super. And that's the EMP. The Shock hang on for just long enough to stay in this round. And Jayhawk can't go anywhere now. Very clever. Nice bubble placement over the self-destructing mech. Speed push sends him across the gap. Super drops down and he gets hacked immediately. Choyomen trying to keep him alive. I mean, that defense matrix was thrown in Super's way to try and protect him. Just not enough.
I mean, not a chance. I mean, you have Marvel who gets nano boosted, Super gets hacked, and he gets hit with a biotic grenade.
Solar arm to the teeth, Matt. It's time to bring some of that weaponry to bear. Michelle, that's the Graviton Surge here. Amplification Matrix, though, thrown behind the Shock. They actually get an Immortality field down, and now comes the Transcendence. They might be able to turn this around on Soul here. They didn't get much value out of the Amplification Matrix, but here's the Shatter. Super knocks Michelle down. He gets a bubble on himself just in time. Fitz tries to drop in onto the point there. Super stuck in the corner, just locked in a mortal duel with Michelle. Eventually getting rid of that NBA. Yeah, I mean, it's all is nasty. It's filthy. All of those things. Marvel caught out. Oh, he's going to get charged up against the wall with a Discord, and that'll get it done. Violet has to use a Biotic Orb just to keep his main tank up, but Choyomen demeched and dealt with. Fleta another barrage there. Super jumps away desperately. Can't avoid him for long, though. Fleta is coming for you. And across the point, just Violet really left now. Moth is on his way back in. There was an EMP there. That is a big one. The follow-up, though, is non-existent. The San Francisco Shock, their engines sputter. It's just going to be the wrecking ball on the point now. Choyomen scruts his way through. Sorry, Shock fans, that won't get it done. Needs to be aware of where the rest of his team is. That Farah is going to be an issue. Super gets a nano boost in, though, immediately getting rid of Fleta. He might get caught out here, though. He is hacked, but Choyomen backs him up. Now Super knows he can push forward and doesn't have to jump away. 3 for Choyomen there. Marvel gets hacked up here, but they're capturing the point already. Jayhawk's down! Jayhawk's down, I repeat! Captain of the Seoul Dynasty is missing. Marvel's forced to go across the point. Michelle is taken out as well. The San Francisco Shock stand tall. Super gets his primal rage. What great timing, and Marvel can't do a thing. He's hacked, and now Fleta will get pushed away. The San Francisco Shock somehow turning this one around. Fits that on the point now, but it just don't matter. San Francisco let the wick burn down. And it's all smiles for the Bay Area boys.
Seoul get one more chance to bite this EMP that's connecting with all 6 players.
Can't do much about
They
that.
should be able to clean this up, yeah.
Far away, he got knocked. It's gonna be a long time before he can get back in the fight. Keep an eye on Michelle's ult percent. Gets back in the.
He's going to go off the side. I mean, there's not
he
even
can't
a
get
chance.
involved.
Oh, let's break it. Damn!
Oh, well, no one caught in the grab. Marvel eventually stepping
Walks
back
into
into
it,
it.
yeah.
Super in from behind there. Oh, bionic grenade. Great connection from Jayhawk. Michelle will be very happy to hang on to this Graviton Surge for later. That's an EMP, which may not even have been truly necessary, but the Dynasty wanted to be sure of things. The Shock have enough of a defensive zone to really make most of the terrain here. Self-destruct, Michelle's trying to push up. Marvel gets caught out by that one. Graviton Surge from the Seoul Dynasty only really gets them Sinatra. And now Super, he's back and he's angry. Pushing straight on back, and the payload gets there. The Seoul Dynasty still had a few players up as quickly as possible, but Super's just shielding. He's not giving Michelle the damage. It's ticking up so slowly. They'll get it here in just a second. Choyomen will definitely be in position to try and receive that one. Michelle, he had to go for the desperation Graviton Surge, but the follow-up for the rest of Seoul Dynasty is nowhere to be seen. They try and push out now, but a sound barrier for San Francisco just smooths out the rest of this fight for them. Another amplification matrix on the high ground, and yeah, that one is just for Rascal and no one else. Super gets the job done. And the Shock take one more step towards that semi-final berth. how do you catch everybody on the shock this time with an EMP? You look at Fitz, he's trying to position himself just so. Sinatra, okay, he does get hit by that one, and Graviton Surge comes out from the shock, but, well, again, the players that were there to follow up on it are hacked. So the Dynasty were able to break through here.
Rains from above.
53 seconds left in the round. Super charging out of the way. Sinatra is very charged up though. Fleta needs to respect it, but Sinatra's looking elsewhere currently. Fitz at least is dealt with, so the threat of the EMP is going to be deferred somewhat. But he will be back, and when he is, it's going to hurt. I think the Shock are right to let this one go for a bit.
You have Violet come back on the Wrecking Ball here to try and stall it. Rascal as well. Violet gets one. He connects with the Sombra. But right now, it's just Rascal on the point on Moira. Everybody else trailing back.
Fleta just used the roof to slide down and try to stay airborne for longer, give him more time to get his cooldowns back. That's an EMP. That's on the 4. Mock didn't have a sound barrier, and he was hit by it anyway. Fleta gets the barrage. Farah, such an issue with Violet very far forward. Sinatra has a Graviton Surge. They've lost 2. Great placement from Michelle. Violet knew about it. He's trying to back away. Airborne Graviton Surge. Sinatra, Chief just called. He said that is super not it.
Yeah, and if you want to invest in this, you have sound barrier. They're going to do it. They want the investment from Seoul Dynasty. They want to reset the ultimates across the board.
All except the EMP. They get it out of Seoul. This means the Shock are gearing up for a real final stand here on the last phase of the map. The Dynasty look good now with time bank. Oh, there's a lot riding on this fight. There it is. Minefield dropped down by Marble, but Fitz actually gets caught out by a Fire Strike. Of all things, a Fire Strike! Choke open with that self-destruct finish. And the San Francisco Shock hold the Dynasty at bay, but that ult economy that they build up is gone. Marble got hacked there. He couldn't shield up now even if he wanted to. Yes, he's more durable, but that EMP, what the heck? Sinatra got 3, stunned up briefly after Super, trying to get a charge in very close quarters, but it doesn't quite work out. Trickhoven desuited, and the Shock might have just thrown themselves here into the worst possible place. Mock taken down. Fitz could be in trouble. Earthshatter here now. Rascal the Fire Strike to finish off, and the Dynasty get the map done. All right, back there from Fitz on a Rascal. Rascal didn't seem bothered until Marble turned up, though. Rascal able to get away. What? Fleta taken down by Trickhoven. And that was the secret weapon for the Dynasty. The point is the Dynasty get Fleta in the fight for long enough to build up these ultimates, but they got nothing. Last chance saloon for the Seoul Dynasty. They have to get something from this attack. Fleta will start on the rooftops. He's looking for Rascal currently, but Trickhoven is there once again! Shuts him down! The most important kill. Landed once more by Trickhoven. And what else did the Seoul Dynasty have to work with here? I think Jackson would have liked to have gone for a resurrect, but Fleta was too deep in enemy territory. Perfect response. Trickhoven, eyes in the back of his head. He sees it all, man. He sees all realities, but every one of those realities is a San Francisco Shock hold. That's big. The Dynasty don't have Isaiah. They don't have a comparable source of consistent damage. And when the fight begins, Sinatra, oh, he's got the bloodlust. He's going to push in now. The San Francisco Shock all grouped around here, the platform. But there's J-Hog, Captain Feld, and the Shock look like they're going to clean this one up in style. Fleta can't get there. Don't matter if you got wings to fly. The San Francisco Shock will bring you down one way or another.
Very hot.
Rascal, he's going to be our player of the match, presented to you by Omen by HP. Very well deserved. I mean, this guy's been in, he's been in the brink position for much of this stage. We saw the Roadhog come out as the Shock tried to devise a response to Seoul's composition. It looked alright, but I mean, stuff like this threw me for a loop. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
They're the only team in the league that plays this because he's the only player in the league who can play this good. Being able to use the Amp Matrix, it's one of the benefits of having, an extra damage dealer in there who can also play some of the supports, whether it's Batiste or Brigitte, and you see, the good healing numbers, the extra boost in damage that the Batiste gave. The damage amplified 2,500, that's huge. Just a massive series from Rascal.